LVC, the network.
Hi, welcome to Magnificent Mogul, the brand that promotes entrepreneurs. Today I have with me Dr. Estrelita Bruce, also known as Dr. E. Dr. E is the founder of A New Me, Transparently, Abundantly. She provides comprehensive counseling, coaching, and consulting services to her clientele, all with the purpose of helping them to overcome trauma so that they can become whole and they can heal. Listen to the name of her business, A New Me, Transparently, Abundantly. She could have stopped at A New Me, but she went on to say transparently and abundantly, and we're going to talk all about it. You ready to get started with this interview?
I am. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on board as a part of the Magnificent Mogul brand.
I am very honored.
So, Dr. E, let's just jump right into it.
Okay.
Can you explain to me, or what do you want the viewers to know about A New Me?
Well, first of all, A New Me, Transparently, Abundantly, it obviously has some history to it.
Yeah.
I started out with Zoe Life Incorporated
Got you.
in 2009. And Zoe means life, and a God kind of life. And from 2009 until like last year, I was really trying to figure out which direction I needed to go into.
Got you.
So I went to the Steve Harvey Expo last year, and when I came back from the expo, I felt really discouraged. I thought everything went excellent and great.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that, I just started writing my feelings,
Got
you know.
you.
And I've always journaled throughout my years.
Okay.
And as I journaled, and actually when I got through journaling, I felt like God was saying, well, how do you feel after you journal?
Yeah.
I said, you know, honestly, I felt really great because it's very cathartic when you write.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, I want you to blog. It's like, what are you talking about? Blog. I mean, and furthermore, I was thinking, you know, there are 20 million blogs out there.
Yeah.
Why should I blog? I mean, what's the significance of me blogging? Well, then he said, you know, I just felt that he was really leading me to be more transparent about my life.
Got you.
Because that's something that I really struggle with.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, I started A New Me because it was more about me being more transparent about my life. And it also incorporated living life abundantly in Christ. So I believe that when I started to just move in obedience and to just be transparent and just let people see more of who I was and who I am, that's when I began to embrace A New Me. So thus, A New Me provides inspirational value products and services.
That's fantastic. Well, I like that. I like the fact that you are definitely living and breathing the whole idea of being transparent in order to live a life of abundance. But I think the key behind your business is that you focus on trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk specifically to that? You know, because we're living in a society that is hurting. Why trauma for you?
Well, just as you said, you know, we live in a society that is hurting. I mean, trauma is so prevalent. And I think that when we really understand what trauma is, I mean, trauma is anything outside the normal range of the human ability to cope.
Gotcha.
And it could be sexual abuse, it could be a loss, it could be a loss of a job. I mean, any type of loss can create, any type of, trauma can create any type of loss. And I think that when we really focus on that, that's where we can really move into the process of healing and wholeness. But you have to understand it. And that's where I feel that I have been really is part of my purpose, to help people to understand that so they can really reconnect to their new me.
Got you. So what if you don't mind, can you go into maybe some personal trauma that you inject into your business that you convey to your clientele?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Which was really part of why I really wanted to delve more into trauma.
Okay.
In my early 20s, I was married, and around a year and a half into the marriage, my former husband passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and obviously it was very traumatic.
Yes.
You know, we thought we had our whole lives ahead of us, and we had purpose. We loved God with all of our hearts, but then that traumatic event happened. It was sudden. It just really knocked the wind out of me.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really, really painful. And so from that moment on, I felt that it was part of my mission to help people to understand it, because I went through that entire process. It was very grueling. So from my own experience, that's what led me to focus on trauma.
Got you.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to coaching, I know that you have a background. You have gone to Prairie View A&M, but the interesting thing is that you also went to Bible College and Theological Seminary. So you actually inject the ministry into your coaching. How do you bring about a balance? With striking that balance where it's you're ministering but coaching at the same time.
That's a very good question. Well, I've learned that counseling or coaching is like an art.
Gotcha.
And not everyone, you can't approach everyone the same way.
Right.
And so you have to really be focused on the person, be intent with what they're saying, and really focus on their heart and their spirit.
Yeah.
And then I understand that a lot of people have had a lot of church hurt,
Yeah.
as well as, especially when you talk about sex abuse. Unfortunately, a lot of women or men, they've experienced
Yeah.
that type of trauma in the church. And so it really skews their views of God and their
Right.
perceptions of God. So I know that when they come to me, I'm not there to.
Like, you don't want to come out like chastising.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. And I think that when, as an individual, I'm very strong in my faith
Yeah.
and in my beliefs.
Mhm.
And so when I really got to know who God was, that's not the type of God that He is.
Exactly.
So when I had to go through that process and that healing, I was able to see God really for who He was.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm able to also counsel or coach people with that same type of compassion and empathy.
So do you think you found your purpose?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, as I'm talking to you, I knew your answer was going to be yes, but I just wanted you to validate it. As I'm speaking to you, I just can feel it in your soul and your spirit that you're dealing with very delicate people, and to just witness the way you're talking to me, I know that you're an excellent coach. I can feel it. I can feel it. So let's talk about getting closer to God. How do you suggest people get closer to God, especially people who have gone through trauma? Because that can be very, very difficult.
It is very difficult.
Yeah.
You have to be transparent.
Okay.
When you're really honest with what's going on with you, and also when you're able to come to the end of yourself, also meaning dissolving your own self-sufficient means of trying to figure things out, that's when God can come in. When you have nowhere to go, nowhere to look, and sometimes God will allow life to happen to you, so all you can do is look up. That's the moment when you can really draw close to God.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. And for some of your clientele, how do you suggest they move into a point of love, self-love?
Well, they can move into a point of self-love. As I said, just very strong in my beliefs, because I also struggle with self-love. I struggle with my self-worth, and that was a result of my traumatic experiences.
Got you.
So when you start to get in a place where you're ready to go through that process, then you're able to receive not only the self-love, but really understand the love that God has
Right.
for you. So when you start to see yourself through God's eyes and His perception of you, then that's when you can begin to embrace self-love as well as
Excellent.
love from others.
Excellent. I like that.
Thank
I
you.
like that. So let's talk about a new me. So what are your ultimate goals with the new me? Do you have any future goals that you're willing to share?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh gosh, yes.
Okay.
Well, I wanted it to. I didn't expect for it to be something global, but my blog now is like in 36 countries
That's
and
amazing.
over like 600 cities. So
That's
I mean,
amazing.
and I started it in the beginning of January. So I would definitely want to continue that, as well as develop the inspirational products, in which I'll
Okay.
have apparel. I'm writing a book right now.
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you, because you know
That could be a tough experience.
so tough. So definitely develop products, and then eventually have my own show. I would love to sit and talk with people about
Gotcha.
how they went through their process as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I have a thought-provoking question for
Okay.
you. So you deal with people and you deal with trauma, and so that means you deal with people who are broken in spirit.
Mhm.
So I want to take a moment to just get us out of your head. How do you define spirit?
Well, spirit is our God conscious. And according to what I do believe, we're not all alive in spirit. It's not until we really connect with God and Christ that we become born again.
Right.
And so when we begin to connect with God and connect with the spirit that He wants to place in us, then we're able to really experience His love, His abundance. So when it comes to broken spirited people, we are a tripartite being, meaning that we are spirit, soul, and body. So we are a spirit and a soul, and it's housed in a physical body. So when people are broken spirited, it's like, if you can just imagine a heart, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The soul and the spirit sits in the heart. It is not
Right.
the heart valve, that pumps our blood, but it's something that if a surgeon were to open us up,
Right.
you can't find it.
Exactly.
You cannot
Yeah.
find it at all.
Right.
So when people go through traumatic events, it really affects the heart, which is the wellspring of life. It affects the life,
Yeah.
everything about who we are. So when we're able, which I believe that's why God led me to get my degree in more so Christian counseling, is to be able to dissect the soul and the spirit. Because you can't just focus on the soul, because if you do, it's an exercise in futility.
Exactly.
You have to focus on every aspect
Everything and
of
all
who
at
you
once,
are.
yeah.
So yes, there's a great balance in that. So yeah, that's what I believe the spirit is. And when we're able to connect with the one who created us, we're able to learn more of how the spirit works.
Absolutely. So Dr. E, thank you so much. Very well said.
Thank you.
And would you take a moment to explain to our viewers how they can find you online and through social media?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would love to connect with you. You can find me on anewmedre.com, also on Twitter and Instagram at anewmedre.com.
So Dr. E, thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
part in the Magnificent Mogul brand. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Not a problem.